So the last part of the video here, we're going to focus on creating the floaters. And floaters are something that we're not going to model into the actual geometry of the mesh itself, and we can hover parts of something over the original model. That's why they're called floaters. And they're good for adding small insets, screws, bolts, stuff like that that might not be worth your time to model actually into the shape. And by hovering it over the actual geometry, when we bake out our low poly, bake out our textures, if we set it up right, then we'll be able to actually project these onto the texture, and it'll look like it's actually part of the mesh. And it's a really cool thing. It helps save a lot of time, and by creating these assets, you can actually start creating yourself a kit bash library where you can save these out into one big file, and you'll be able to reference that later on and have a collection of screws, bolts, different washers, and basically just go into that kit bash library and pull pieces out. And it'll save yourself a lot of time in the end, because you won't have to keep modeling the same things over and over again. And you can see here with this one, I basically just used a primitive and deleted half of it and then inverted the faces, so it was actually showing me the inside of it. And the reason I did that is because I'm going to use that as the surface of this, because I want it to dip in. I want to create the hollow part here, and we're going to use this as the holes for the main speaker in the top. So go ahead and place that, and you can see how it actually isn't embedded into the geometry and it's floating over the surface. The other ones that are there are the older ones that were a little bit closer to the concept, but didn't really like how they looked. So we're going to go through and do this. And so we'll go ahead and just attach that and put that in the middle here, and we'll see that I forgot that I had left a turbo smooth modifier on it, so we want to go back, undo, detach it, and then delete that, and then reattach it here. So alright, so getting back into it here, going to select the floater here, and we're going to want to scale it up so it matches the concept pretty closely. It's not going to match perfectly because we added that indent at the top that wasn't in the original concept. So we'll go ahead and copy that over now, and this is an exact copy of it. And we'll go ahead and move this down a little bit and then bring this part up, and this is going to just create another floater next to it, and it'll start to look like we have like the panel's been cut out, like you'd see on a phone or an iPad and stuff like that, where the speaker holes would be. So you can see how I'm starting to use this now, and just basically repeating the same things over and over. And that's basically all this is repetition. And so that's basically going to summarize the high poly details. I did a few more things with floaters and copying a few of the insets out a little bit more, but in general that's basically what I'm doing. And the next thing up will be the low poly.